Hello folks, it is I, Napalm, and we're back with more showcasing the bat suits. Today we're going to do the Batman Incorporated suit. I don't know anything about this suit, to be honest. I just happened to skim through the suits and just put this one on, and I just thought this looks exactly like the Batman Michael Keaton suit, but it actually doesn't. It actually has like a few distinctive features that make it stand out a little bit though, but I put it on, I played around with it, it actually looks pretty cool. There's like some kind of vibrancy, like, I don't think that's a word. There's like something vibrant about the suit, actually. Like, you know, the main armor. It's kind of like lenticular like, but it looks really cool, actually. I don't know if I would actually ever do a full walkthrough of this, though. Probably not. Because I don't know much about it, though. But it actually looks really, really cool, to be honest. I like the suit. It looks really cool. So I thought, you know what? Let me play around with it. I haven't done a showcase in a while, and frankly, I don't know if I'm going to do every single suit. I keep lying to you guys, I'm sorry. But a lot of the suits just don't catch my attention. Maybe I'll do like a few of them, though, actually, because a lot of them look the same, to be honest. Like the iconic black and gray, and then there's the first appearance suit. I mean, they're all pretty much the same thing, so I was just like, maybe I'll just mesh this into one. Because, well, one, because they look the same. And I'd be like, well, this is a waste of time doing separate showcases for that. And the other thing is just like, I'm trying to think of things to like talk about in terms of Batman thing. I tried to do like a Spider-Man 2 showcasing, but I did not like that. That game is not really good, to be honest. I know like a few of you guys have commented like to me for me to continue the Black Symbiote Spider Suit walkthrough, but honestly, just the game isn't that good, to be honest. I don't enjoy playing it. It's just like really buggy. You have to do a lot of good deeds in order for like the police or whatever the special forces to get off your back. And I was just like roaming around, you know, just swinging in the suit and just talking about Spider-Man in general. But like, you know, like if you don't do heroic acts, they're gonna get on your case, and it can be a big nuisance. So I just thought, nah, yeah, I can't do this. So that's why the Spider-Man 2 games have stopped. I would love to do a Spider-Man 1 though, but there's just not a lot of suits really in the first game. And the ones that I really do want to play, like, I can't get them because something about Activision, they don't have the rights anymore, so they took off any game-related thing owned by Activision off of the stores for PS3, for Steam, for anything. You can't buy them, you know. Probably online like the physical copy, but in terms of digitally, I don't think you can. So that's a bummer. So hopefully, I always keep checking just in case, like, oh, maybe they put it up, because I would love to do a Sam Raimi classic Tobey Maguire Spider Suit walkthrough. But, you know, so far no luck. So we're gonna have to stick to Batman until the Insomniac game Spider-Man comes out. Until then, we'll do Batman. I probably would have loved to do like Arkham City, but again, there's not much to do in that game, so we'll stick to this. So what the hell am I going to talk about with you guys? The new season of Gotham is out. I haven't seen it yet. I kind of not really excited to see it. I haven't even seen the reviews or anything. I know that I looked through the comments and a lot of people are kind of like fed up with Gotham at this point. I don't blame them. I'm kind of on the same page. But it's just like, I don't know. I know that they're trying to do their own thing with the show, but it's just becoming too much of a mess. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably watch it today, to be honest. Like if I'm not doing YouTube, I'm mostly drawing, and I usually have something in the background playing. And yeah, I'll have Gotham play, you know, because I know like because they put it on Hulu, so I'll just watch it then while I draw. But yeah, it's not really catching my attention. Like the story's a mess, you know. Like all these villains are out, and Bruce Wayne is not Batman yet. So it's just like, are they still gonna be around when he becomes Batman, or is he gonna become the traditional Batman we know? Because for all we know, it could be like the Batman that he becomes could not be the one that we're expecting. You never know. I mean, like I said, they're changing a lot of things, so a lot of people might be disappointed in that area. But yeah. Yeah, and then supposedly rumors that, you know, like Jerome, whatever his name is in the Gotham series, he's not the actual Joker. And I'm actually glad for that, to be honest. I mentioned before in a past video that I didn't like Cameron Monaghan's, I think that's his name. I didn't like his rendition of the Joker because it seemed like he tried a little too hard with that. He's a great actor, really, really great. I seen him in Shameless, and he's pretty good in that show. But in terms of him playing the Joker, I don't really like him because it just feels like him in that role. He kind of tries to force it, the whole psychopath thing, though. I mean, it sounds sadistic and everything, but it just doesn't feel very genuine. It feels like it's like really, really forced. So I just don't believe the psychoticness in like his role in that. So when I supposedly read that, like, oh, this guy is not the Joker, I was actually really glad. I was like, oh, thank God, maybe they'll get someone better. But then again, I read some news that you're like, oh, he's not the real Joker, but his clone is, because supposedly I think he has a clone. And I just thought, well, I just wanted a different actor to be the Joker, because I think they could have done better. So, we have to deal with that for a bit. Right, let's fight some enemies. Let's take this. Let's put this suit into action. I'm just gonna fight around a bit. But yeah, I don't want to bash on Gotham, because I really did like it in the first few seasons, but it's when they decided to take their own creative route in telling how the story is that I started to lose interest. Kind of like The Walking Dead. I really liked the first few seasons, even the farm season. A lot of people didn't like that season. I loved it. I don't know. There was more tension in it, though. Yeah, I really liked it when they, it's the second season, I believe, when they, go into the farm, they first meet Herschel and Maggie. I liked it. A lot of people did not like it. They thought it was boring. I disagreed. I loved that season. I thought, personally to me, I thought that was one of the best seasons. I think the season after that was where, I don't even remember what the third season was. I think it's when they go into the prison, but I just didn't like the seasons where it involved the prison, because I thought that was boring. I don't know, not a lot happened. They were just staying in there trying to protect what was theirs, and yeah, I just wasn't a big fan of it. It didn't catch my attention. Alright, stop talking about the Walking Dead this dog. Let's talk about Batman. I'm not sure if I ever brought up the whole thing with two very important comics in terms of Batman, like Hush and The Long Halloween. I don't know if I touched upon this subject in the last videos though, but I just usually what I say is that I thought The Long Halloween was a better comic than Hush. Hush, it looked good. I mean, the art style was definitely really good. It was very chic, very detailed. But just the whole storyline, I'm gonna spoil it for you guys, just in case, I feel like I did go over this, so I don't want to be repeating myself. But in terms of that, I'll just do a quick recap. But it looked good. The art style was really, really great. The story just wasn't good. It wasn't for me. Hush, it's the main villain, Tommy Elliott. We all know who he is. I mean, I didn't know who he was until I played Arkham City. But after, doing a storyline, I was like, oh, who is this guy? And then I looked him up, and I was like, oh, there's a whole comic based on him. It's Hush. So I was reading through it, and I thought, Thomas Elliott would play, a major role. I mean, going into if you didn't even play Arkham City, and you didn't even know who Hush was up until the point of reading the comics, you should pretty much know who it was. I mean, you start off with the story, and there's this new character. It's oh, Thomas Elliott, you were an all-time friend that I haven't seen in years. And then, Bruce and him start to, rekindle their friendship, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this villain comes out. I was like, oh, out of nowhere, this guy, Hush, he's the new villain. It's just okay, well, Bruce Wayne's friend comes back into his life, as well as that, there's this villain named Hush. Doesn't really take a genius to figure it out that Hush is Thomas Elliott. Or you have, suspicions that, okay, this guy's definitely him. But yeah, I expected, the whole, thing was just oh, you prevented my revenge, I wanted my parents to die so I can inherit the fortune. I kind of expected that in the comic series, but it really didn't go that route. To be honest, it's been years since I last read the comics, so I don't know the whole details. But in the end, it turns, in the end, it just becomes a mess, Red Hood comes back from the grave, and then, it turns out that Riddler was, the whole mastermind behind the whole thing. And Batman and Catwoman, they get together, they become, they kind of start to form, a relationship. But that doesn't happen because Catwoman is talking to Batman, and at the very last thing she says to him is like, "Oh, hush," as in telling him to be quiet. But he just gets like freaked out and just says, "Oh no, you're part of this whole scheme with Riddler. You're in on this," and that kind of like fucks up the whole relationship that they have between each other. So I just didn't like it. It just wasn't good storytelling, to be honest. Um, it, it, I just I just didn't enjoy it, to be honest. They could have done better. I wish it focused more on Thomas Elliot rather than the whole still trying to figure out who Hush was and just the whole quotation plot twist that it was the Riddler all along. That wasn't a good plot twist. It just came out of nowhere and it just didn't work for me. The Long Halloween, however, that I really liked. At first, when I first picked up the volume, like I was just like, this art style is like really crappy. It's like pastel, like, you know, like there's no like sharp detail. It's like very mush. But I just like bought it anyway. It's like, okay, this is a Batman classic. I have to read this, you know. Otherwise, you know, like it's like one of the essential books that you have to read when it comes to reading Batman. And so I just bought it, and I'm reading it, and the story was actually really good. And it just like I started to like really grow on the artwork. I don't know what his name is. It's like Tim Loeb or Jeff Loeb, so one of those two. Um, yeah, the art style is actually, it really starts to grow onto you. It's just like, this is actually really good. It kind of fits the whole noir style that the story is being told. And not only that, but like that volume, like The Long Halloween, was like the prime inspiration for The Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan movie. So I'm reading it. There's even like a forward message in the beginning, I think from Christopher Nolan himself, that says that, yes, you know, I read this and it was like the main influence for The Dark Knight. And yeah, it's just like a really good book. Like, you don't really know who it is. You know, like the plot twist is like, you know, like you kind of don't expect it, but it's a good, pleasant surprise, you know, because like even if you're not familiar with the whole Batman thing, like most of the characters in there I wasn't familiar with. Yeah, like I'll just spoil it. Like, it involves the Falcone family, and the main villain behind these Halloween murders or the holiday murders is Carmine Falcone. I don't know why he does it. I really want to read it again. I don't mind reading that again because I bought the sequel to The Long Halloween, which was Dark Victory. That's when Robin is introduced. And I love that one as well. It was the same artwork, but I still loved it. I know there's a third one, but I didn't read that one, and I heard it wasn't that good. But one of these days, I'll buy it. But I really liked it, though, actually. But yeah, Carmine Falcone is the main villain, and Calendar Man is involved, or like he helps Batman, you know, like investigate like who's behind the holiday murders, because, you know, Calendar Man, he, you know, kills on holidays. I just thought it was really well done. And yeah, I prefer The Long Halloween over Hush any day. So like if you're like kind of deciding, like I'm really interested in what other people say. Like I always go online and just kind of like you know, search which is better, Hush or The Long Halloween, and a lot of people make really good points, and I'm always pleased to see that some people agree with me that The Long Halloween was way better. And yeah, but yeah, if you guys like, I don't know, I really want to know what other people think. I always ask my friend, and he says that a friend of mine prefers Hush, which I think that is blasphemy. Don't. But yeah, The Long Halloween is definitely a better, in my opinion, in personal opinion, definitely better than Hush. And so is Dark Victory. The artwork, it may not be to your standard, you may not like it, but I definitely really, really liked it. So it was a fun read. And the art style, like I said, definitely begins to grow on you. And there's one that I forgot. I think I really need to backtrack on my videos. But there's one volume which is Black Mirror. I think that's what it's called, Batman Black Mirror, not the show Black Mirror. But it's a Scott Snyder work. He wrote Black Mirror, and I was a little iffy about that because I honestly not a big fan of Scott Snyder's rendition of Batman in the New 52. As like I mentioned before, that it starts off great, you know, like there's definitely a build towards the climax of like, you know, all of his arcs, like, you know, the Court of Owls and like Bloom, and then like Super Heavy, but it just really falls flat when it comes to like a conclusion to that arc. It just doesn't, you know, like meet the expectations, at least for mine. So when like I ordered Black Mirror, I was a little iffy. I was just like, all right, I'm kind of expecting some bad things. I'm kind of expecting to be let down with this volume. But let me try to remember what the thing is about. So first of all, like Bruce Wayne is in Batman. I forget why, but it's Tim Drake or Dick Grayson. I think it's Dick Grayson actually who takes over the cowl. So he's now Batman. And the whole like plot of the whole story is that like there's different stories though. It doesn't just stick to one, but each like each story or issue within the volume, it has something to do with the bigger picture of the main story that goes towards the end. And I thought it was really, really well done. But the whole, like, the main point of the whole thing was it involves Jim Gordon's son. I think his name is James Gordon, and he isn't like Barbara Gordon at all. He's actually a psychopath. He's a murderer. You know, ever since a kid, like something like had to do with how his brain is. Like how like the smaller your amygdala, the more likely you're a psychopath. And I think that it's what happened to him. He was just born a psychopath, and it involves around him. And yeah, that's the whole plot of Batman Black Mirror. And you don't really get introduced to James Gordon until like the second story, I believe. He just like talks about like Jim meets up with James in a diner, and they talk about like his past. And it's actually really good. I really want to read it again. It was really intense, and it really had me at the edge of my seat. But it was actually one of the first Scott Snyder works that I was actually really impressed by. And the artwork definitely fits the tone of the story, which was really good. And yeah, it's actually a really good comic series. So if you like Scott Snyder, add Black Mirror to your list. If you don't, definitely read it, because it's definitely something that you'll be impressed by. Like, the climax to each issue definitely meets the expectations and gives you a good ending. Even the ending to the volume itself, it was just like, it's left ambiguous, but it's definitely a good ambiguous. You're satisfied. I was satisfied. I was just like, alright, this is actually pretty good. So, I was very impressed that Scott Snyder managed to give me a story that I enjoyed. So, I kind of want to be on the lookout for other works of his and see what they say. Anyways, I think I'm done playing with the suit, to be honest. I have nothing else to say about Batman, so otherwise I'd just be rambling on about other things. That, and I'm also tired, so I think I'm going to stop right here. So hopefully I was able to showcase the suit long enough for you guys. And yeah, this is where I'll stop. Let me just fly away. Perch on a place where I could not be harassed by thugs. And yeah, I'll stop right here. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I'll go back to playing other games with no commentary, because I honestly don't have anything else to play. If you guys want me to play something, just let me know. Otherwise, it's just going to be other videos that are random. Anyways, that's it. Bye-bye, guys. I don't think it's turned off.